And it's time to go live from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to the morning's team for Wednesday, October the 18th. We're going to recap Major League Baseball action from last night. The Phillies continue to power their way through the National League Championship Series, and they look like they're putting the Diamondbacks in the rearview mirror, but they got to go back to Arizona. And can the Diamondbacks score a run and put an end to this? Can the Astros end the Rangers winning streak tonight? Are we headed for that collision course? Philadelphia, Texas. Let's give these underdogs a chance. I was on a show last night saying, hey, don't do this to us, baseball. The first round already got screwed up. The second round looked like a screw up. If this round ends up in a couple of sweeps, they're gonna change everything. I mean, what are we gonna do with baseball? It's not broken. It might be just some happenstance, some variance here this year. Maybe we're not used to it a little bit with expanding that first round. But what are you gonna do? Like I said, this is baseball. It's why I was on. I know everybody had Philly here last night and whatever, but like I said, I'm not going to pass on a plus money in the playoffs, but certainly Phillies and deserved every bit of it. They're mashing the ball. Schwarber, your typical leadoff man, if he doesn't hit a home run, he's obviously got wheels, right? He can steal. No, that's not even how you play it anymore. You just go with whatever. He's a mashing home run man that will hit it out of the park. At the beginning of the game, in the middle of the game. Schwarber's made a career off of postseason heroics. Remember when he was just a young buck and coming in really the first time we saw him was late in the season than the postseason. So Schwarber's been doing it for years. Turner, Harper, all these guys just having a great run right now. Maybe they deserve it. And doesn't Arizona, great run. They've got young talent too, and maybe they can stick around. But they get their chance to do some damage at home. And tonight we'll take a look at the Rangers. Hello to everybody in the chat. Say hello to you, the stars of the show. We're rolling on in here. College football last night wasn't. We get what we get on these Tuesday, Wednesday games, right? There's entertainment there. That's why we're in on these games. All right, let's get the banner up there. Show everybody knows who I am. Come on. Welcome to today's edition. We have, of course, like I said, Major League Baseball. It's a weird card, right? No doubt. We're got to be selective here. We're only a few plays to give out, but got the baseball game tonight. We've got 2 games in the NHL, 2 games in college football, and by chance, anybody? WNBA game 4, big news in that, and we hope your picks are ready. Let's say hi to, well, let's just call it like it is, my closest friends at this point. No disrespect to you guys. I mean, all respect to all of you that show up to see me here talk about these games. Blake, good morning. Or to see me put your comments on the screen about these games, why not? Ram, Z, World, always nice to have you. Ferner is here today. Says hello to all the Sharps in the chat. That's who we're talking about, right? Oh, the Sharps are on. They're talking about us. Dwight's here this morning. Solo with a nice day yesterday. And I said Jay Peasy's name yesterday in one of those other. I was in the secret. Not only was I in the super secret chat room yesterday, they pulled me in on the show. But when they started saying something about some theme music, I typed in the chat. I said, "Well, that's Jay Peasy's. It wasn't this show, Peasy. It wasn't me trying to still get a theme song out of you, but it was about." I don't know. You know those guys. You know what I'm talking about. They were doing something weird and fun as usual. But they let me on the show last night. That was fun. All right. We'll go over to Tony'sPicks.com and here from Rolando. I'm ready to talk about it, man. Maybe we should just save your comment for a few moments from now so we can see how we can attack a most interesting game tonight. And Patrick here today. Great to have you. I'm ready for your picks and your comments here as we roll along. Let me retweet myself. There we go. With tonight's games. I don't know how else. I'm going to talk about 6 more college football games, of course, to get some more programming out there here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Remember, live programming today here on the channel. We have, of course, I'll be here for, I don't know, I'll drag on for 90 minutes or so thinking about whatever I want to talk about. And after that, we've got midday plays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific with Mindy Hahn and Tiffany Mance. I believe she returns today for an appearance. And also, don't forget, of course, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific is the drive through with Tony T and the Pick Dogs crew, bringing you live free sports picks before the top of the hour, because that's what we do here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, is deliver those winners, and to deliver them are professional handicappers here on the network. All right, let's stop imitating and start creating here with our picks, but we'll go over to Tony'sPicks.com real quick and just see who did what. The results are in, and we'll take a look at the premium picks over at Tony'sPicks.com, because that's, there I am. All right, yesterday, here they come. And it was Sean B. On top of the leaderboards, new to the network here over the last couple of weeks, but he makes an appearance here with a very impressive day here with a 6-2 record. I'm going to start. I don't want to disrespect Sean here from the Platinum Crew, I believe, but I'm going to start trying to say his last name, and hopefully I get it right. But I just want to say it's Bila. I don't want to go with Bila. I know I'm thinking Bila, but Sean B 6-2 yesterday, and who was 5-2? That would be me. How did we do yesterday, gang? 5-2. Gonna get right back on. My winning streak. I think one thing I will say about this recent run. I don't know how long it's been. Or long this run has been. Good run here, but certainly feels like about 60 days of maybe a back-to-back break. No back-to-back losers for sure. I mean, I don't know. You guys, I might have some subscribers in here. I don't want to inflate my record. Everything here is documented, but threw in a clunker on Monday. Come right back up big on Tuesday. We're going to do. No one lights up the leaderboards like I do here at Tony's Picks. Nick Lagaretos can light it up a little bit as well, 4-1. How about Joseph Schultz? Keep an eye on this man. He is really, I'll show you in just a minute, he is really smashing some of these props like you wouldn't believe. Pravi Samba Murti, 8-5-1. You always get your money's worth with Pravi's pick, certainly. And me too. And a couple of us volume players here. Hollywood Sam, 67% yesterday. Oh, Tony T, just a little 2-0 yesterday for Tony. Penruhala, 3-1. Marlo Pettis, 1-0. Daniel Olasachuk, 1-0. Mindy Hahn, 1-0. Everybody's winning here on the site. So here I am talking a bunch of trash, and everybody's winning. That's good. That's what you want, because all of our pick packages are guaranteed. If you buy a premium pick package, 3-pack, 7-pack, 5-pack, single game, if it doesn't produce a profit, you're going to get credits right back to your account. Doesn't mean you get your money back. We're trying to run a business here, but going to always leave you with a winning experience here at Tony's Picks, and we take this stuff very seriously. At least I do. If you see me sweating these games out like we were last night on the air, it's fun. And going to bring you more winners, free winners in just a moment up and down the network today here on Tony's Picks. But our premium picks are right here. Take a look. Joseph Schultz, 16-7. Ben Ruhala over the last 7 days, 38-24 plus 12 and 3/4 units. Chauncey Giles, 6 2/3 units of profit. Nick Lagaretos, plus 588. Daniel Walasachuk, plus 575. So, see right there, even uh, I'm not on that. I'll be on there today. I promise you. I'll get it. Over the last 30 days, well, yeah, I'm on top of the handicapper leaderboards here on the network. 30.5 units over the last 30 days. That'll absolutely get it done. And Ben Ruhala also right there, plus 28.80 over the last 30 days. Hollywood Sam. Look at that winning percentage for Sam. Crushing it right there. And he's up 27.5 units as well. Joseph Schultz, like I said, been a great contribution here. He's up 20 units over the last 30 days. And Nick Lagaretos plus 10 units. Check us out over at Tony'sPicks.com and use the promo code TonyT at checkout. That'll save you 20% off the premium pick packages. Do work on these games. I'm not just throwing darts here, and neither are any of my cohorts. So if you're got winners, no problem. Keep rolling with us. We're going to get your free picks in just a moment. But if you need just a couple winners in your back pocket, let's get them right here at Tony's Picks. 3 packs, 5 packs, 7 packs available from our crew today, including Ben Ruhala's got a 3-pack of props. Sean B's got a 3-pack today, 2 on both games, it looks like, on the ice, and 1 from our college football schedule. And Bella is bombing away, and she's got a variety pack with an NHL pick, college football selection, and a pick tonight in that big game, Las Vegas Aces, New York Liberty game 4 with one of our new cappers, Bella, $15 picks, Joseph Schultz, Daniel Walasachuk, and Tony T tonight, and best bets from the crew, including Nick Lagaretos and Pravi Sambamurti and Bella as well. She's loaded up in best bets, 1 in each. She's got a college football, a hockey, a WNBA, and an NFL. Look at everybody's got best bets here. Sean B, Nick Bartini, and all of our crew. All right. Commercial time's up. Let's head back over to Tony'sPicks.com and say hello to a few more friends. We get rolling here. 1, 2, say hello to Darren joining us today. Also, Gerardo. Jerry says, good work on the premiums. Hey, I had to bounce back after subpar day on Tuesday. Usually, everybody have a day where you're 500 or whatever. And I had, we came back strong. Should have been 6-1. But I don't want to be like that. Matt says, last slow day of the year, question mark? Or, well, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, we know we're in that streak of football games every day right now, but I think there's a few, days on the schedule where we got a few more just like this. Ron's here today. Maybe I'm going to try to save we're leading off with the baseball games. We'll just save Ron's play here. Werner went over in the game. Oh, yeah, got me. No doubt. So it is part of my review to be transparent here with my strong day. I did go under again last night. I was contrarian all the way. Got the baseball game wrong, but that's all right. You guys did a good job. I said on other shows that the Phillies, to me, they're great. I'm not going to argue, debate, dispute any of it. I just looked at the line and said, if I'm looking at a baseball game now, you guys, maybe you're better at, and we went over batter versus pitcher matchups together and things like that. But in the end, I just couldn't pass on a price like that in a playoff game. Certainly, logically, maybe the Phillies, but I think it's a recipe for disaster laying 160 in playoff games at home long term. But sometimes, you just want to pick the winner, right? We don't care. That's what, we make fun of sometimes, chasing $2 and $3 favorites. But if you sat there and wrote out your line or printed it out of a compute, whatever your source or formula is for, maybe you don't even pay attention to the line. And if I didn't, I probably would have taken the Phillies too, I guess. But I'm just too methodical in my ways. Hello to M Looks, talking Phillies. And we're talking Phillies right now. Peasy's got his action today. Timmy Two Shoe is he first time commenter, I have to think here. I'm not sure, but uh, right. And Timmy, both games I got beat on the total, but I'm not fretting. But it just kept sneaking over there a little. It doesn't really sneak over. I mean, 10 runs is 10 runs. That's way over in my book. Thank you to Ron for your plays. I'm going to make sure I feature those, Ron. If you got a run, feature them when I get to that segment. And no, it's just right now, right, Ferner? It's just a bit of a tidal wave. Maybe Arizona, you can get a little bit too above your head, I guess, even in the postseason. Maybe it's just a little bit too much to handle. And, they'll go back to Arizona, and we think of Arizona, maybe, they'll be loud. They'll be, it doesn't feel like they can be, not very many crowds can be Philly loud, right? So, yeah, Arizona's got a different type of ballpark. It makes things a little louder. But um, I'm not saying their crowd isn't, rabid as well. It's Philadelphia crowd a little bit different. You had a feeling that that played a little bit of a part in the overwhelming momentum and the fact that the Arizona pitchers on the road, whatever reason, not whatever reason. I mean, pitchers are going to struggle a little bit more on the road as in general. But uh, looking back on it and trying not defending any of my play or anything, but certainly with the inconsistencies we've seen, even from Arizona's decent pitchers who, a couple of guys, we saw two guys over the last 2 days that are pretty good, but haven't really got an over the hump in superstar status, right? Just good pitchers that, well, until you start doing things on the road. And good morning to Frederick and Team Steam here today. Thank you, you guys, for still making a team with me here. And it feels like we're not rebuilding our momentum a little bit, but look, we picked a lot of winners together. And uh, I think in the end, that's where it comes back to, right? I mean, we got some great personalities here, some talented handicappers, but you can, we get the fresh start every morning here, first on YouTube on the 40,000 subscriber powerhouse. Get that first look at the line, get you all the Steam play action here as part of the morning Steam. So our scoreboard go down a little bit here. It's just a prop, but maybe we can bring it back. I like to have it because sometimes I see the line out of the corner of my eye on something, but we might be down today. I don't know. Okay, there we go. All right, head on over to Tony'sPicks.com and use that promo code TonyT at checkout. That'll save you 20% on all premium pick packages. We'll get started with the picks here today because Londo's ready. Let me introduce the picks here as to get ready for our first game, of course, the big game today between the Astros and the Rangers. So we return back to Arlington, and man, the excitement going back right now for Rangers and Rangers fans. This is terribly exciting, isn't it? Because of everything that's going on with a 7-game winning streak at this point. Absolutely unbelievable right now with the momentum of the Rangers. We think that Philly's got it going good, but how exciting is this now for the Rangers, who have never won the World Series? So confidence is booming. You have Max Scherzer on the mound here today, a 3.8 earned run average in his last four starts, and uh, for the Ranger. How do you think that one went necessarily there? I feel like the internet's gone down. As I hopefully I'm on the air with you guys. Maybe chime in and help me out. I see the numbers. It looks like I'm on, but these other computers are kind of haywire, and my other computers and the scoreboard. So I'm wondering. I thought we went down. Anyways, for Max, 3.2 ERA on the season, but Max has had more than a few playoff appearances, hasn't he? And well, Max, he's been fine in the playoffs in his career with 3.58 ERA, 22 starts. I mean, Max has, you know, started a ton of games. So, he'll be fine in this spot. Kind of feels like it could be that road series a little bit. Want to try to find a way to give the Astros every chance to be in this game, but doesn't feel like a terrible price for getting Max Scherzer now. Christian Javier has regained his form here, no doubt. Not maybe not long enough for me to want to think that he's totally gotten it back. Last four starts, though, a 2.8 ERA. So, this season, Javier had a 4.58 ERA. So, also Houston 8-3 in Javier's last 11 starts, and Javier has been terrific in the playoffs too, which also adds a little bit to the whole situation for Javier. 1.91 ERA in 15 career appearances, only three starts in the postseason. Has never ascended to to the type of role that he has now in the postseason. Even though he's been a starter, he hasn't necessarily fit into the plans in the past. But here now he's certainly a veteran and great numbers. Also, 10 starts against the Rangers in his career, a 5-1 record with a 3.84 earned run average. Now, let's take a look maybe at a few matchups here. We have time, I think, today. Oh, let's see here. Maybe the BVP. See if I can get up some BVP here in this one before. Let's see. Oh, let's go back to a few more comments from you guys. With looks says today is Houston's best shot to win. He's not sold on him. Maybe he's going to go over today with the matchup. And we're, what can you say? We're looking at 9 runs here today. Look, one thing, we know Max can give up, he's not afraid to give up the long ball, right? One thing about some of these starters today, you want to get in there, you want to be firing, and, we see sometimes to the demise sometimes a little bit, but we're looking at a 9 flat here today. I have $1.30 there on screen with Texas, but you could find $1.25. So I don't know if it's indicating necessarily which direction I might be going, but at least on the show here, Look said he's looking to go over, so I'm probably going to go over as well with Looks. These are pretty solid numbers. Obviously, these guys have regained some form. Like I said here, Gerardo was hanging out with Gerardo again as always last night, and Gerardo says he took the Astros. Scherzer a little bit of time off. Doesn't think the Astros will get swept. Like I said, I also hope not. So I don't want to make it about any of these baseball has problems type of things with the formats. Like I said, if you want the good teams to win, just put them through. Don't even have wild cards. Kind of go. Maybe you could go back to the old days where it was, what you do in the old days. They just had the division winners. They had 4 divisions. There were like 6 teams for a while. There were 7 teams in the American League divisions. And just you won first place, you're in the championship series. And that's what it's all about. And I think the one argument for that is that, you know, baseball is more like that, right? That's what is more important for baseball is to have the long seat to determine it. And playoffs might not be the right answer, but that's the way sports is headed. All right, look at here. We have a nerf, and I think that's a nerfy, right? Alternate nerfy 1.5 line. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm an amateur in sports betting. Frederick, help me out. But maybe I don't even know what a NIFI is. But I do want to know. I think I'm an expert, but Astros for me don't feel the best about it. And Ray says, talking to Blake there, it's keeping off his Rangers. The Astros pitching not convincing. But again, here we are. We're in the postseason, and just roll with the Rangers. That's a interesting point right there, considering the way it's been going at this point. So I don't know how much we can, like I said, dissect it too much, but it does feel like, to me, I'll go over. I'm going to take the over here uh, with these two in this venue. Also, I must say, high total here for this postseason game. But thanks, you guys. Enjoy the game tonight. And I'll have a premium play, so pick it up over at Tony's Picks. So you guys are done, so I'll be done. You can move into hockey tonight. Couple of games on the ice tonight, and the Washington Capitals going to be on the road here, taking on the Sens. In this one, the Senators. Let's get the latest lines. But right now, the Senators going to be a big favorite here tonight against the struggling Capitals. Man, could you imagine the way this is going? Yeah, it looks like $1.70 right now. I'm showing the total moving slightly higher here too. We'll call it 6.5 over at minus 115, but I guess it could be moving even a little bit higher. Hello to Tone Miggins this morning, and to Jimmy. Londo is going to take the Caps in this one with did I have the goalies up there? Let's see how we're looking in goalie land today. Corpusalo and Kemper look like are the expected goalies. Well, we do have one confirmation in the other game, but we're going to roll here with Kemper going up against Corpusalo. So far, man, the Capitals have, I don't know, but they've fallen where they were already rated pretty low, right? And now they're all of a sudden kind of rated low once again, and we got to wonder. I know Londo said, you know, take that puck line right now, but man, it's just hard to think what some of these problems could be at this point. I don't want to call them problems necessarily, just yet, but does feel like the slow start, where the Capitals stand right now as far as where the franchise. No panic early. It's not time for any panic. Nothing like that. But, well, other than the fact that you're the Capitals and you have to you have modest goals even coming in to the season. So for the Senators, there's positive momentum here a little bit right now, I'd say. Coming in, especially to be a favorite like this at this point. $1.70 does seem a little bit hard to swallow for an Ottawa team right now. That early on we're not totally seeing what we've got here with these teams, or just like I said, one of the things, if anything, you know, struggling for a few more data points with a little bit of changeover in the league right now. But I think there's enough to work on here with what we saw last season. Um, but still, $1.70 here with Ottawa doesn't feel totally comfortable. I want to try to find ways to play Ottawa in a way, because I have concerns with the start right now of the Capitals. But it just seemed maybe the public, maybe the books are kind of onto the same thing uh, that I am a little bit, as far as where we're at with these two clubs. So all right. Just going to be on the over here in this one at 6.5. Looks like that's the way the direction's moving too. Uh, There, let me note that move over here, because, like I said, certainly is snuck up here a little bit at 6.5 over 15. Doesn't look like you guys are maybe too interested in this one. Maybe it's an ugly game, so I'll just move on. But Capitals and Senators tonight on the ice, and we got one more to look at. And we've got uh, historic clubs in Pittsburgh and Detroit here, with the Penguins and Yari. Ville Husso is the only confirmed goalie at this point on the 4-game card for the Red Wings. The Red Wings here, Husso 1-1 so far with a 3.56 goals against and 86% save percentage. Here comes some play. Oh, thanks you guys on the plays there. I pestered you, and I should have waited. Solo, Penguins, Red Wings, over, says Solo. I hadn't even really been able to commit necessarily here, Solo, to a play tonight. Look, there are a lot of there are a lot of things that kind of point to the Penguins here in a way tonight, but I'm thinking about being on Detroit here at plus money, to be honest with you. And I don't know. I guess I might be able to just give it out right now. I don't know if there's problems with Pittsburgh at all necessarily, and I'm not saying that the Red Wings. Yeah, they continue to show steady improvement over the last year plus here, where things were so bad for a while. It's not where you want the Red Wings. Certainly, we deserve to have winning Red Wings, but for the Penguins here to come in as a road favorite, and I'm not sure that they're necessarily worthy of such a price. I'm showing it right now at $1.25, but I see some prices a little bit lower on the Penguins here today. Maybe even $1.20 at some of the sharper books around. So for me, I'm gonna take Detroit here. Not gonna pass up just a little bit of plus money. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some pretty popular. I think that the Penguins will be the popular choice of cappers today here, but I may be just against them this time in this one. So, all right, we can move on, I think, unless maybe not a lot of comments here necessarily with you guys on this one. Just to look back a little, this one's just game's just a little bit more interesting considering what the teams have done so far this season. You have Pittsburgh coming off the pair of wins over Calgary and over Washington. They just beat Washington at Washington 4-0 4 or 5 days ago, and They lost their opener, of course, to Chicago. Remember, 4-2. So, and for Detroit, they are on a two-game winning streak here with wins at Columbus, 4-0, and they beat Tampa Bay 6-4 following their season opening loss at New Jersey. So pretty good game right now, and we'll see if Detroit's all about it. Both teams at 2-1, but I think for me it's just because of the Detroit. Uh, as a dog, I'm interested right now. That's kind of what I think the way I'm looking at it. Just maybe more of an even matchup than you might think. Yeah, maybe I'm not getting the best price here with the Red Wings, but I'm going to try them here at least at even money. I'll call it even money. It might be plus 105 or a little higher at some of the sharper books. But I'll take the Red Wings tonight against the Pens. Hello to those of you watching on Facebook. Hello, family and friends. Say hi. I see your comments and I want to talk to you. I miss you. All right. Let's hit in hockey tonight. We got two games on the ice, and both of them starting 7:07 Eastern, 7:37 Eastern. A little bit of a lead into the baseball, I guess. Now, let's see here. We might have Londo says plus money here. Oh, let me get the pick in for Londo while we're still talking about it. On the under. So we did have a little bit of Solo and Londo. We're not consensus. One's over, one's under. All right. Let's go to the big game of the baseball game is the big game. But this one's worth watching, and we have big news in this game. There's no doubt about it. There is news in this game, certainly tonight. We have pretty big line move because there are some injuries now. I say it's not any of the stars, but it is, some key personnel that will be out here for the Aces tonight. They definitely have some injuries here, which has caused the line to go up. And maybe the fact that the Liberty won a game as well as maybe, but there were some look aheads right out of the gate that were considerably lower than this. And I don't know if it was a matter of, the injury report that contributed to it, or just maybe a little bit of confidence now for the Liberty getting a victory. And it was a night a good victory, right? I mean, impressive victory, but having a couple injuries here tonight, the line is now increased up to 6. And that's significant because that's, we don't see the Aces getting this type of number. Now, let me see here. I do want to check to get the exact. All right, here we go. Yeah. So Stokes is out with a foot injury, and Gray is out with a foot injury as well. So those two key injuries have helped the Liberty take maybe an adjustment here, but that's basically two key. So you still have Plum, you still have Asia Wilson, you still have Jackie Young, so that's all fine. But you do when you're taking out basically two starters out of the lineup for the Aces tonight, not the super like if you had to put them all, line them up 1 to 5, you basically have number 4 and number 5 out, right? as far as the best players on the Aces. And I think one thing is key, is that the Liberty got that win, a lot of momentum with that win, and they proved they are indeed, after losing two and not really looking that good. Ray says go under. Solo says go under. I mean, why wouldn't you go under? I mean, after what we saw in the last game, I regret. I mean, I don't regret. I mean, we gave out the Liberty here on the show. Frederick says go under, and I don't know how you guys played it, but when they got to halftime and the game was on pace for the total, like right on pace, but I mean, the second half is going to go lower, and the second half line reflected, right? They didn't, duplicate, they anticipated that, like in most WNBA games, that the score would be lower in the second half, but I wasn't worried about that. I went in pocket second half under. And that's going to be a good way to look again today. I would think too. Whatever happens in the first half. But at 169, is that still the line? I mean, it feels like, like we're really getting a bit, like it feels like a bargain. So I will say this, maybe the Sharps saw that number, and I don't think it reached 6.5. Let me take a peek here, but um, there was so there was a 7 out there at one point at Bet Online, but reportedly the Sharps came in. The reported steam is on the Aces here, but you know what they say about Sharps? They play numbers, not teams. So Sharps don't look at injury reports. I guess they're just like, Aces taking +7, +6, whatever it was. But I don't feel like that. I feel like, I feel like the Aces will win it. I think that this league, at least right now in this series, like home team dominated. They'll go back to Vegas, and the Aces will win, whether or not they have a full lineup or not. I feel like the Aces will win, but I think it will be a 5-game series. I'm not saying they'll win this game. I think the Liberty wins this game, and I think they will. I think they'll probably cover. I'm giving out the under. I mean, that's my strongest play. I feel like the way these games are playing. The days of the Aces. Terrell says it right here, right? They know what to do. Look, if there's one thing about Courtney and Sabrina, we're on a first name basis, is that they know what they're doing out there running the show. I mean, they're two very good guards, and hey, I've had criticisms that all season long of both their play defensively, and they have turned it around from what I can, from what I can see. I know there's some guys out here doing a little more, Oh, Terrell, I didn't even notice it. Let me see. The Liberty knows that slowing the pace gives them works in their Terrell, you don't worry about that. I read right through it. We don't worry about that stuff on here, right? I used to be that grammar. I used to be the grammar police, but as we've gotten older and the way like texting works and everything, but isn't I don't worry about that anymore. I just read right through it, and you don't even know anymore what a real word is half the time. And the one thing about they didn't teach in school is that language is ever changing, right? I mean, you say something is spelled wrong. Well, is it? If everyone starts spelling it a different way, like some of these acronyms, or even the way they, right? How about the word though when you're typing, like in your, one day people just put THO. I'm sure in 20, 25 years, everybody just say THO. For though. Like, Oh, Londo, thank you. We'll look at those right now because we'll wrap up the play here with the under in this game. Aces and Liberty. That's my. Like I said, they don't even have allow me to sell WNBA anymore because we're just too strong on the site. Maybe they feel like I'm running up the score a little bit. So it doesn't feel like wasn't that successful a season, but we had our share of winners. And anyways, I'm just teasing. It didn't really sell it. Nobody wants to buy WNBA winning picks. They all know they all have the cheat sheet. They all have the script. And the script tonight for me says that yeah, this game I would imagine the same exact type of thing. It'll be fine in the first half. It may even go over in the first half, and then the second half it'll slow down. The pressure will be on, and that'll be what slows it down in the end. And you know, Gray and Stokes, those are contributors. The Aces are such a complete group; they will be missing points here. You can pick it up with their bench, no doubt about it. But all right, that's a big game, but we may have one more if the Aces do not win. And all right, let's go to some college football for tonight. All right, let's go to some college football for tonight, and hopefully, hey, everybody enjoyed those games yesterday. I did. We went 2-0 in the premiums, and you know what? I sat out look. Um, there's only two or three games, right? I mean, I these over a Saturday card. These games might not make it to a card because of what. Yeah, if it's strong enough, it's going to make the card. You don't toss a game out but a lot of times the information or Saturday leading up to it. But in these games, like last night, you know, Middle Tennessee and Liberty, we went over big time. Was over. Look at what the 21 all at halftime. It was going over, and we had another winner in Jacksonville State, and should have came in with that last game too. We nailed it. I knew that it was going to be. We gave out the over. I mean, it did take a little bit of a lopsided game there with South Alabama, but I knew South Alabama. I just didn't want to put it through to premium subscribers. To lay 19 points, could have laid 17. The line went up. Felt like they were going to. Something's wrong with Southern Miss again. Oh, this poor football program that look how bad they were just a few years ago. I think before the pandemic, I want to say, and they slowly came back a little bit, but now they're back to being bad Southern Miss. All right. Florida International and Sam Houston State college football selection for Wednesday night. Sam Houston State here, they're favored. I mean, that's saying something, right? Because Sam, there's nothing wrong. I keep saying there's nothing wrong with Sam. And I stand by that despite the poor start now since coming to Division 1. But look at the line here tonight. Now they are playing a bad Florida International team, but at least Florida International has a couple of wins. Sam, they have no wins. And maybe I should update the spread to reflect the current spread because the spread is exactly how many losses Sam has, and that's 6. So you tell me 0-6 Sam against 3-4 FIU. And Sam, the line has just moved, not just moved. I typed these in a few hours. Maybe it was this morning. Maybe it was last night I typed them in. But the line looks like it's 6, you guys, right? And it was lower. Now, fact, Sam Houston's 0-6. That's a fact. Sam Houston opened as low as 4. That's a fact. Sam Houston is up to 5, 5.5, and now 6 points at one offshore book at minus 105. It is kind of juiced to taking the points with Florida National, but even if you call it 5.5, the move is on Sam. And Sam has been decent despite an 0-6 record. Throw in everything, right, with Sam Houston. And I talk about their good coaching staff. Look, they could go 0-10. This coach ain't getting fired. I'm pretty sure. He has seen this all the way through. He is a part of all this. So it's are we getting spammed in here, you guys? No, you guys are just on fire with football talk. I saw 16 comments. Hi, Jason. I feel like I'm 78 years. Me and Thomas are rocking the blue. Let's say hello to some folks. Thomas is here. And Terrell said, look at that right there yesterday. Yep. How about it, Terrell? And we went under on the show, so we hit it, right? Hello to Jason. Dwight says lay it. 0-6, right? Still 3-2-1 against the spread. 4-2 against the spread for some of you. Jason says, are you 78 years? And like I said, I feel 78 years. I'm not quite there, but if I can make it to that, I would like that. I'll be right. I'll probably be right here. That's the goal. Right here in 24 years. I'll be sitting right 23 years, I guess, now. I'll be sitting right here, hopefully, with you guys. Probably in some other weird technology. Florida International here for Londo today. And Terrell. No, that's a good point, Terrell. And the one thing, like I've talked about with totals, and one thing I'm trying to fight through this a little bit because I'm getting some pushback. Ramon always takes totals, and I always say, well, that's the easiest for me to predict. I can predict. I feel like I'm better at judging. I like to look at how many plays teams run. Right, that's a great. How many plays a team run? That's one of the most great indicators. And you put them together, the two teams, right, and how many plays get run in a game, and things like that. Ray says Sam. Londo says the line should be closer in this one. Yeah. Well, FIU here for Frederick. I'm always about Sam here. Really. I mean, I want to give Florida International a chance. It feels like they're being the ones that's been disrespected, but they got some. So Sam, many feel Sam is overdue. Many feel Sam is overdue. Yeah, when you're 3-2-1, right? So these are the teams you look to bet on in a way. Yeah, true. I don't know. Yeah, you're right, Terrell. But it's Wednesday night, though. Nathan, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, look, Sam's game is defense, no doubt about it. And it seems like once they started to remember they were playing some ridiculous. Yeah, how can you lay 6 points in a game that, looks to have such a high total there, right? But again, it has been increasing a little bit with Sam off of the first ridiculous game there, but so okay, for FSU, they've just lost their last 3 games they've scored by a combined or let's see, I think it's 109. I want to say 109. I'm at it, 109 to 37. That's over the last 3 games. Florida International has been year in and year out one of the worst teams in the country against the spread. Probably maybe the worst. Maybe that's why, Londo. Sam, I no, Sam. I look, Londo. You are the man. You are. I appreciate you very, very much. And to coming in here every day with great. And while I agree, I mean, it feels uncomfortable to lay 6 points with a team like Sam because of their nature. I'm not even. I'm not debating. I will not debate you. Anybody can call them. Maybe they are overrated, and maybe I don't. But to me, when a team is 0-6, but has a spread record of 3-2-1, to me that is an indication that they are underrated because they continue to cover the spread and lose the game. So most people are taking the other team, inflating the spreads, and Sam ends up getting the money. That's what it feels like to me, not to condescend your remark there. But I also know what you're saying about, right? Like maybe it's me too. I talked up Sam because remember they were one of the best programs to me. I would like to follow the FCS teams, and they've been terrific. They were 26-5 over the last 3 years before making the move, and they knew they were making the move. That's part of the thing. They kind of knew they were coming the whole time. FIU and under here for Darren. Reginald, Sam, and over. We don't have a consensus here. Hey, I want to say hello and welcome, even though it's a pass. And I'm going to. Dexter's welcome to come in every day. Look at Dexter. Dexter Death Clock. And we're talking about aging. Oh my gosh. Ooh. And it's 10 after 10. Dexter, nice to have you. Life is too short to pass. I'm going to make a play here, and I'm going to take FIU. Londo said the line just moved, and it's now 5. I'm going to contend that you're just seeing a wide line, Londo, again. Oh, you're right, Londo, on this one. So I will be honest. I did call out Londo a little bit, but Londo's right. This game is definitely. I just wanted to pick FIU +6, and they moved it on me like that. How dare they? Well, now I'm stuck. I just said 5. And Londo, I mean, I don't know if Londo, so the books that I use on the show, one of them's an offshore book. I use a popular offshore book for the show. I'm in Vegas. I like the Vegas books. I use the Vegas apps, but because offshore, they don't allow you to. Well, you could do it, but you're right. At the book that I used for the show, that's where it moved. So maybe that's right, Londo. You got it right, and that's what I'm on too. That's what I use for the show, because I think they have a unique line that I like very much. I like those guys. And Darren says, yeah. Okay, Terrell says they'll take. See, Terrell, I didn't know that. I mean, because I think they look, you know, I don't think the general public who does answer me this, chat. General public, general betting public, everyone who's betting, right? Um, from the Ramones of the world that think they need to know every single stat and every single angle so much that it confuses them all the way somehow and still make a winning pick, or Joe Joe average that gets home from work, looks on the thing, looks on his app and says, "0-6. Well, these guys suck. I'm going to take the other team. They're getting 5 points. They're 3-4." Or does the average punter say, "Oh, Sam Houston, they're 0-6, but they're 4-2-1 against the spread or whatever they are." And like I said, to me, the spread is the indicator. The spread record, you got to take into context. But I don't want to tell you guys. I mean, this is a betting show. But the spread record is the indicator of how a team is performing against the perception of the public. So, Sam Houston, they're 0-6. They've played way better than 0-6 because of that spread record. They were outscored 65-10 in their first three games. They've closed the gap now, outscored just 83-67 in their last three games. Remember, this is their first year in Division One, which is, we just saw another team. The other comparative team is last night, Jacksonville State. And it's funny because if you look at Jacksonville State and Sam Houston coming into this season, you would say, and they played, right? They played that memorable game already early on in the season with the ridiculously low score. But it's like, there's not much. Well, Sam arguably better than Jacksonville State coming into the season off of their seasons and what their reputation and success, and both very strong Division One AA programs coming in. I'm sure Sam's actually quite disappointed that they haven't been able to. Well, of course they are, but I mean, they're probably actually surprised, and that's why it's not a surprise to have that good spread record. But look, I want to respect this. Thomas just said it. Well, okay, but Thomas is saying respect the steam that obviously there may be some move. If you're talking about the move that maybe just came in on Florida International, but to me, I want Florida International because I think the nature of the game kind of indicates we could see a game that, look, that 42, that's pretty high for a Sam game, actually. And I don't know, the line to me, the steam came in on the over. Thomas says respect the steam. That maybe I'm wrong about how this game is going to, turn out. But I'm going to take Florida National +5 now. I'm going to take +5. What a bummer. Give me FIU tonight. That's my play here. I think we were just talking philosophy there about handicapping and not a preview of the game necessarily. But for FIU, they are 7-14. Their last 21 games as a road underdog against the spread. And of course, they have started to play a little bit better ATS in conference, 5-7 in their last 12 conference games. They were absolutely terrible for 3 years, the worst conference spread team in the country with just 2 covers in 19 games, dating back to before last year. So, Terrell, no doubt about it. So let's get off this game and just address Terrell's comments about one of the most famous, that's what Hawaii is all. I mean, that's why they call Hawaii the bailout game, because, action on Hawaii games, Hawaii home night games are disproportionate to the rest of the Hawaii, if they're on the mainland, if they're in another game, because it's a standalone game, and people are stuck or whatever. But whether or not they'll be on Hawaii or not, that might be another. But certainly, spent many nights rooting for the Rainbow Warriors myself, and way back to picking them up off of those big satellite dishes and trying to make sure we get those games. But man, I can remember some wild Hawaii. I remember one year Wisconsin went to Hawaii, and oh boy, they've been some memorable BYU Hawaii. You could Google or YouTube search. I better know the year, but one year BYU. If you put in YouTube BYU Hawaii 1989, somewhere in there. I mean, there is a game that if you'd imagine having a bet on this game, probably we did. Unbelievable. Okay, let's get on with it. Anyways, Florida International, they do allow a ton of yards, but Sam's game is defense, no doubt about it. Statistically, a pretty good defense for an 0-6 team. And we'll see. I'm going to give Florida International a chance here. New Mexico State and UTEP college football game here for Wednesday night. The Aggies on the road here against UTEP and New Mexico State. 3-point favorite here. How this one has moved. I did see UTEP maybe opened around a pick. And they might even went to -1, but it's all been all in New Mexico State. It feels like since then. I don't know that it just feels very public-y. If you want to get on a 2-5 UTEP team, that's your right. Certainly, right now UTEP 1-5 straight up and against the spread so far in their 1A games. They did beat a Division One AA opponent. Now you can compare these Conference USA groups here because UTEP beat Florida International last week at Florida International 27-14, and UTEP is 2-5. So you can maybe want to compare that to our previous game that we talked about. Uh, all of the Miners' losses, though, before that were by 14 or more points. So that was the first. That was a season best performance that they got last week. Dwight likes UTEP on the money line today, getting the plus money here at $1. Oh, maybe even $1.30 or so now. There are some very interesting trends that kind of favor the Aggies here with Coach Kill in the in this one. It just feels like the right situation. This is been building a little bit for New Mexico State. I mean, Jerry Kill knows what he's doing. I mean, here's a guy who I don't know. I mean, he probably should have a. It doesn't matter though. He doesn't, and it's almost like he doesn't worry about that type of stuff. Wherever it is, you know, he's going to do it. But it does feel like now they are never a road favorite. Never, New Mexico State. They are here, but when they are a road favorite, and I think they've been a road favorite 5 times in the last 7 years. They've covered 4-1 against the spread for New Mexico State. They've gone 1-4 to the under so far this season. Londo likes it over though. Reginald says, "Give me some UTEP money line as well." And Frederick says, "Give me New Mexico State. It's a lock. It's a hammer lock." Oh, I don't think I could say that. I think that's a coined phrase. So I don't know. To me, New Mexico State, it feels like a pretty good spot. And Darren says the points make him feel better. Maybe taking UTEP here. Frederick says take a look at the injuries in this one that UTEP might have. You got Hardison, the quarterback, doubtful in this one. But I don't look at him as an impact quarterback necessarily, but I do respect that. I'm on the under in this game. The steam came in on the under, and that's kind of the way I'm headed, I think, in this one at 47.5 now, right? Yeah. It was as high as 49.5, so could have got a better line. I'll probably just go with it here as a free pick on the show. It's an under. Of course I'm on it, right? Of course I'm on it. All right. Any other? Londo's got it. Okay, let me a few more here with Darren. here on New Mexico State. Londo will lean as well. We'll say this: New Mexico State has, or I'm sorry, UTEP has gone under in 8 of their last 9 home games, dating back to last season. And in this series, pretty regular series, a favorite has dominated. The favorite has gone 8-1 in this series. Usually, it's a home favorite. Don't see as many road favorites in this series. Heads up, but like I said, New Mexico State 4-3, 4-2-1 or so against the spread. UTEP 2-5, 2-5 also against the spread, and the teams have gone combined 5-9 to the under so far this season. So behind Hardison, you've got probably, I believe, Cade McConnell would probably be, I believe, is the backup quarterback here. I mean, Hardison, the thing about Hardison, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. We'll see with McConnell, who, has probably only been in there about 25% of the time, but he has 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. And I missed the comment on Pavia here. Let me get that. Dexter talks right, and that's just a part of what you get right with New Mexico State, Dexter. So it looks like I hope I can have you stop by more often with some great comments, because that's totally under the radar totally under the radar comment right there about Pavia, who having a great year. 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions so far, 1,600 yards for this passing offense. So I am big on on Jerry Kill. That's really what this comes down to, and trying to find spots here to bet on Jerry Kill. That's what all there is to it. So here's the thing, for Kill, and this goes back to when he was with Minnesota, I think a little bit, but Kill is 19-7 against the spread against teams coming off of a loss, including 10-1 against the spread against teams that have a winning percentage of 333 or less, while UTEP is 0-7 against the spread as a conference home dog, as a conference home dog of 25 points or less. It's pretty big, pretty solid sample, and 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games against teams with revenge. So just a lot of trends here that favor. Those ones are pretty specific. I don't want to, bore anybody to death if you think putting some things in the old SDQL and seeing what pops up a little bit, but there are some significant trends that really crash right into one another that have favored New Mexico State big time in this one over UTEP tonight. But I'm going to take under here with, I think New Mexico State maybe keeps UTEP down a little bit here. And I think that opening number, which was 44.5, far more accurate for me in this one. I have it under. Thanks, you guys. Enjoyed college football tonight. All right, that's it for all the games today. If you want to stick around, I'm going to preview 6 more college football games for Saturday and make a pick as well. So you're welcome to stick around and make some picks with me. Thomas can lead the crew a little bit here, but I'm going to resume action kind of where I left off with 6 more games around the, I believe it's a 4 o'clock hour, 4 Eastern, I want to say, and 1 Pacific. with a big game. I want to start with a big game, and hope everybody's ready for one of the biggest games of the weekend. You think of all the matchups. Yeah, we've had some bigger weeks, I think, to a certain extent. But when you look up and down the schedule and you want to find two teams with great records in a huge game, uh, of trying to find the best matchups of the week, the Toledo Rockets taking on the Miami of Ohio Bobcats. And what a game it's going to be. Both teams coming in 6-1. But there's a big difference between Toledo's 6-1 and Miami of Ohio's 6-1, isn't there, game? And that's the fact that Miami of Ohio is 6-1 against the spread. And how has Toledo done? They're 2-5 against the spread. Toledo is always over. They're always laying too many points. They're good. They're great. They're very good. They're good. They're good. They're Toledo. This is the MAC here on Wednesday night. We got some action. But Toledo, now they are, in fairness, they lay in a small number here, but they're playing a good team, averaging, they're, just as good, I would think, to a certain extent, right? With Miami of Ohio and Gabbert, um, you know, Gabbert's got 1,450 yards here, and Toledo's Finn, he's pretty good as well. But these are, complete, well-balanced MAC teams. And Thomas Lewis, I don't know if this is. Thanks, Dwight, for your comments today. That's what I want to do. I want to try to have fun. I know I ramble on, but this is it's supposed to be like a morning show, right? I should be sitting on a couch, like on, like Good Morning America, or I don't want to equate it to like a sports type of show. I should be sitting on a couch with some coffee or some Pepsi. I don't drink coffee. So this is just going to be a very, very good game with these two teams, Toledo and Miami of Ohio. And Toledo, like I said, they have failed to cover the spread. They have won all these games in a row now, 6 straight wins, and they've failed to cover the spread in 5 straight games. Imagine, that is tough to do. I don't care, if you're Alabama laying 35 points every week to the SEC also rans. Toledo has won 6 straight games. Now they beat Texas. Remember this one? They beat Texas Southern 71-3. Yeah, that was this year. If you missed that one, they beat them 71-3 back in early September. But since then, they were favored against San Jose at home by 8.5. They won by 4. They were favored at home to Western Michigan. They were favored by 21.5. They won by 18. They were favored at home against NIU, and they beat the Huskies by just 2 points, favored by 13.5. Then the last 2 weeks, they were on the road here and won by 17, laying 19.5 to UMass. They were on the road at Ball. They won by 7, laying 17.5. Here's the other caveat on this. This is their 3rd straight road game. So you know what's going to happen. I'll tell you guys right now, and I don't want to give away anything here, premium land. But I will tell you this, that this game's going over. I'm going over. Free pick right here on the show. But, I feel this is one of my favorite games of the week, obviously, the way we're having some fun with these two teams. Huge game. Now, Toledo also, I'm on the over, but I just want to quantify some of these stats. I want you to get my premiums. But Toledo 1-8 against the spread their last 9 games in the MAC. Now there's not a lot to say because Miami of Ohio has a pretty good defense at a MAC level. You look at some of their recent games. They beat some of these teams handily. Now they just beat Western Michigan on the road, 34-21. They covered. They beat Bowling Green at home, 27-0. Favored by 7.5. They beat Kent on the road. Yeah, Kent's terrible. They won by 20. They covered 13.5. Okay, so right now, Miami of Ohio rolling through opponents and covering numbers. But I will go over in this one because, both teams very, very solid. I expect a high quality MAC game. I wish it was Maction, actually. I mean, I just say it's Maction because it's a good game, and I know that's a catchphrase. I wish the game, this is the game you put on. Where is Maction this year, actually, right? When we change it to Conference USA, you don't have any funny saying. You don't have any. I don't want to say Kusa. It sounds dirty. Looks like Frederick might be going with Toledo here. But over for me in this one. I mean, like I said, Miami, Ohio, good defense. Toledo can give it up a little. Now, these guys are good. These teams are good, but I just expect efficiency of the two teams. And I believe these two teams haven't played in a while, even though they're together here in I think because maybe they were in different divisions, or I don't know what the deal was, but I didn't include that in my research. Probably should have. We only have so many hours in a day, and I do everything by hand, except for the printout, the spit out of the ratings and the predictions that I have. Print out the computer every day with my ratings, and half the time I don't even listen to it. Okay, so my pick there over Toledo and Miami, and we're gonna have pretty sure we have premium in that game. All right, this one's not as fun, but just think it's interesting because, and that's what I've done to select some of the games. Like Tony's doing all the games, great previews, Tony style. I watch them every night, love it, and he'll preview. But some of the lopsided games, I'm not going to get into necessarily on the morning show, but just want to do this one because I just think it's interesting because now it's a conference game, Texas and Houston, right? That's and that's the way it should be. Now, Houston, I say they're not very good, but they're not, and it's not even, you can't even say like it's a dead spot right now. It's not really a rivalry here or anything, but there should be. So maybe there will be. They have Texas here favored 23.5. Now, they are just 3-3 against the spread so far. And it's kind of a dead part of the schedule, certainly, for Texas a little bit. Now, this total opened 64.5 when we were on that preview show on Sunday with the opening lines. And we did see it open also 21.5. It dipped as low as 20, but now up to 23.5 here. So, look, yours has been great. I've been on this Texas team. They're, the team that I thought was certainly one of the better teams in the country. That's obvious. We know that. But I was saying, give them to me as number one. Well, now they've got to go out and now they have a loss. They've got to go out and reassert themselves and battle a little bit too. Certainly after the loss to the Sooners. Good job. I mean, they not good for Texas, considering where they want to be and where they thought they were headed. But they didn't overlook Oklahoma. Anytime in that game, anything can happen, and it did. Now, Houston is coming off an impressive win over West Virginia. Remember that game? We had Houston in that game, plus the points. They won the game outright against West Virginia. And here, I don't know, the fact that this got over 3 touchdowns now has me on a lean probably to the Cougars here, because maybe Texas knows that they're in a pretty good spot here to win this game. Now, Donovan Smith is no slouch at quarterback. He has 1,600 yards. He's 13 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So pretty good numbers, certainly. Houston, of course, in that last game, before that, on the road at Texas Tech, they didn't get it done in that game, but they played Sam, and they beat Sam 38-7. That was 3 weeks ago. So, the fact that this total has gone down here to 61, it did touch as low as 59.5, but I'm going to end up on the over here. I don't think that Texas, like I said, you are playing Texas, so it might be tough enough for Smith, but at home, if Texas does get out to a comfortable lead, I don't think it's, motivational enough to just go out and curb stomp them. I think Houston can have some success in the game here as they take on this team for the first time in over 20 years. They met regularly throughout the 80s and 90s every year, and then a few more times at the turn of the century. But not since 2002 have they played. And, maybe the programs are in the same position they were even back then. I mean, Texas was great and Houston was marginal. Houston's had some uh, special teams here and there. They've had some great quarterbacks as well, no doubt about it. Think of some of the great passing teams that Houston had, some of the great quarterbacks, right? But so I don't know if there's. I don't want to waste too much time rambling on, but some of the series history there, I just equate it kind of the same type of programs. Those games back in those days, I just think the programs were the same, but they were all blowouts. I mean, Texas 41-11, 53-26, 48-0, 52-20, 48-13, 34-16. These are all Texas wins. They always won this game. Houston won one year in 91, 23-14. I'm not saying look at 30 years ago. I'm just saying, thanks, Jeff. Yep. What should we do? The pick is in. The pick is in. We don't have anything else to talk about. Oh, is it? I said over, right? I want to make sure. Did I get it? More Big 12 action here with the Texas Tech Red Raiders taking on newcomer BYU. It's fun to have BYU in this conference so far. Texas Tech on the road here, a 4.5-point favorite in this one against the Cougs. And we'll take a look here at 371, 372, where this one opened Texas Tech a 2-point favorite when we were on the opening line report. This total opened 51.5 and dipped down to 51, but has since seen movement to the over here now at 52.5. And, I'm not sure I get it, quite frankly. And the move, like I said, Texas Tech opened -2 here, and now they're up to 4.5. And that also has me a bit perplexed. So, in this one, let's see here. Oh, I see your comments already starting to roll in here a little bit. Thomas says he's going to take on BYU. He's going to take BYU here in this one. And Reza asking about, we'll come back to that, Reza. We did talk about the hockey game. I don't want to lose you here at this part of my football picks. But if you scroll back, probably about, an hour, an hour or so, the Ottawa game, we talked about it. All right, just continuing on here with this matchup with Texas Tech here and BYU. Tech comes in with a 3-4 record, 1-2 on the road. BYU 4-2. They've won all three of their home games so far. Uh, BYU has gone 5-1 to the over so far this season, and going over in these conference games as well. Currently, last week was an over against TCU. Barely, they got blown out of that game. TCU won it 44-11 as just a 5-point favorite. Now BYU did win and cover against Cincinnati at home, 35-27. They also lost at KU and won at Arkansas. They've also beaten Sam, has BYU 14-0. So we talk about some of those Sam woes. First meeting between these two clubs, Texas Tech comes in off of the loss at home against Kansas State. Now, a lot of people say, I thought Kansas State was a pretty popular play from handicappers last week. It seemed like they really thought that the, way that the Kansas State program is, maybe the slight decline here we've seen with Texas Tech, and they've had injuries at quarterback and Slovis. Well, what can you say? He's done an okay job for the Cougars. 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and we know that Texas Tech has had problems with interceptions so far this season. As a team, they've had 16 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. So it hasn't been perfectly clean here, but BYU usually their spread record at home pretty bad of late. They've covered just 2 of their last 9 home games, but usually they're favored. And if I'm getting BYU as an underdog, I'm interested. That's my pick. Going to take BYU here against Texas Tech, getting 4 points as a home dog. I mean, like I said, Texas Tech coming off pretty bad. Not, they lost to Kansas State. There's nothing wrong with that, but they lost to them by 17 points. The game was practically a pickup. So, yeah, I know they beat Baylor on the road. We know Baylor's down. That was a good performance for Texas Tech, no doubt about it. They were favored by 2.5 and won it. But maybe you could equate it. They did play at West Virginia, lost a low-scoring game here. So I know this total's in the 50s, man, but I'm not so sure, to be honest with you, about getting to 50 points in this game. Now, like I said, BYU's gone over in every game, but I think this one could maybe be a little bit more difficult. And if any, BYU was going over a little bit last year, especially but again, different year maybe there. Texas Tech 3-4 to the under, but the picks on BYU. Let's take the Cougars in this one plus the points. I don't know, Thomas, if it was, you're going up against Kansas State is still all that. Yeah, they had a slip up a couple weeks, like when everyone was trying to say, don't forget about Kansas State. They still have a great program. It's not all about when Snyder was there. They have a coach that really just, you know, uh, kept it moving with Kansas State, and they lost a game that everybody was expecting them to, be Kansas State, and so anybody's jumping out the bandwagon with Kansas State. But all right, well, we got to talk about one of the best teams in the country. I'm talking about the UNLV Running Rebels. I'm here in the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. And it's big news here. Reading the Review Journal every day, the coverage of this team. They're not one of the best teams in the country, but they are 5-1. It's one of the best records in the country. And you know what? They are the best in the record, and the best record in the country that we pay attention to? The spread. So, like I said, if you've got the best spread record, you should be candidate for the coach of the year. And that's where we're at with Coach Odom because right now UNLV 6-0 against the spread, and to me that is the ultimate record keeper of how you do against the perception, as I said in the show, the perception of the public. And well, they're 5-1 too. That doesn't hurt. The only loss the Rebels had this season, they were able to cover the spread. And that was in the game against Michigan, of course. They lost 35-7. They were getting 38.5 points. 35-7 was not a terrible result that day for UNLV. These guys know what they're doing here in town. You know, UNLV can build something here again. I want to say again. I mean, they've never really had anything remotely close, but to extremely successful, even in their conference here. But they can now because of the fact, to me, because they play in Allegiant Stadium. I think there's a little bit of something to that. It's like I said, it's a awesome venue and it's close. It's not a campus facility. It doesn't matter. It's right down the street. It's as good as, there are plenty of teams that don't play right on campus or anything like that. This is so they play there, and just a terrific situation for UNLV to have a world-class facility like that after playing in the Silver Bowl for all the years. I mean, that is an attraction for players in a in a program, and UNLV is doing some things here. Not saying they can turn around, and I don't know. Anything's possible at this point. When you look at the standings, you look at how they're doing right now. They beat Nevada, they beat Hawaii, they beat UTEP. These are not great teams. This is a tougher game against Colorado State here, certainly. And, Colorado State's proven to be, capable club at 3-3, 3-3 against the spread. Everybody will watch. All eyes were on the Rams when they played the Buffaloes, but that was over a month ago now. Since that game, which they did cover the spread, remember, with Jay Norvell, and everybody said, oh, look at Colorado. They're not all that. Well, this Colorado State coach, even Coach Prime, gave his respect to Norvell, even after the comments that Norvell made, and they were off the cuff a little bit. There was obviously some mutual respect there between the two guys after the game. And Norvell, a bit of a psychologist, knew what he was doing when he made those comments. He wasn't trying to flare up Sanders or that team. He was looking to get his own team's confidence built, because I think that Colorado State has a decent club here in conference. They So far, they beat Boise last week at home, but they were a dog in that game, remember? A 7-point dog against Boise. And believe me, I mean, Colorado State could not run the ball against Boise, but they lost at Utah State by 20 points as a 3-point favorite. So in this one, I've got to consider the points with Colorado State. As awesome as this has been so far, and look, I think UNLV can win this game, and they'll probably win it by short of a touchdown, inside of a touchdown. It feels like to me. Thomas Lewis likes Fowler Nicolosi. 1,900, too many interceptions. I mean, he's got to stop throwing picks. He's one of the, I don't know the leader. He's got to be, though, he's got to be among the leaders in interceptions. That is a problem. But he has thrown for almost 2,000 yards this season. They're not going to, Colorado State is not going to back down from what they're doing. And they've been involved in some relatively high scoring games. Colorado State is 5-1 to the over. Pardon me. Need my OJ. So UNLV 7-2-1. The last 10 games, they've gone 7-2-1 to the over in their last 10 home games. Also, 18-7-2 to the over in their last 27 games as a favorite. This has been a home-dominated series. 7 of the last 8 games been covered by the home team. But Colorado State in a little bit of a cover streak dating back to last year. They've covered 7 of their last 10. But like I said, just 3-3 this year, but I'm taking them at 8. Let me update it, actually. I'm going to give myself a 7.5 just to make it a little bit tougher. Talked about Bet Online. That's what I see it over here, 7.5. And see it right there. So, one thing, though, that total. 64.5. 64 on there. I'll call it 64.5. And, well, I might be saving that. I feel like we're going to see Colorado State 5-1 to the over so far. UNLV 4-2 to the over so far. UNLV clicking right now, pretty much on a roll, averaging 44 points a game over their last 4 games. And Colorado State also putting up some nice numbers offensively, having scored at least 24 points in every game this season. So I would think it's going to be fun. Maybe the line, maybe the total. Let me see what the move was here. Open 60.5. Boy, I should almost give it out here as a free play with that line going up so high. There's still there is room to breathe, I feel like. It actually dipped to as low as 59.5 here and now up to 64.5. I feel like this is going to be a great game. Our high-scoring game, wild game, and fun times here in Vegas. UNLV. I don't know. It would take hard for them not to find their way to a bowl game, and bowl games for UNLV. They don't really say those words together very often. All right, TCU. Kansas State. This sounds like a pretty exciting game with the defending champion TCU here, all the way to the national title game loser. And what a run it's been. I mean, I feel bad that everyone bags on TCU and what they've done with their, they've been a great program for years, but last year was something special, and for them to get, everybody's all making fun of them and everything for uh, being just 4-3 right now. That's unfair. Totally unfair. This good program. Hey, okay, one team was a flash in the pan. Everything broke their way. It was awesome. Come on. Well, any program wishes they could do that. So right now, 4-3 coming in. Kansas State with a 4-2 record coming in to this one. This game opened as high as 8.5 when we reported it to you on the opening lines report on Sunday. It has since dipped all the way to 6.5 and is now back up to, or dipped all the way to 6 and is now back up to 6.5. This total opened 54.5 and has gone all the way up here to 60. And that's a little uncomfortable. I still think it could go over. I'm going to give it out as my free play. I mean, we missed out on a lot of points. Now, that opening number, I never had a chance to bet at. I don't have a chance. I'm here reading those circa lines. I'm not on the app plugging away, banging on those games. But I think I did have a shot here at a 57 and I missed out. So let's just give it out as a free play right here. Certainly I want to go over in this game. So, and that's where I'm going to look. Let's see if you guys have anything on this one. We'll roll into some stats here maybe. Thomas Lewis here says, give me TCU. And that's where the move has been. It feels like here on TCU. Now, Kansas State has been doing a pretty, like I said, we just got done talking about them a little bit on the type of role they're on right now. They're 4-2, yeah, but remember their losses. They lost at Oklahoma State. That was certainly a surprise. Remember they were favored in that game by 11.5. That was a game where everybody's like, "Hey, don't." This is still Oklahoma State. Then they lost also. Let's see here. Oh, at Missouri, they lost at Missouri 30-27, and they were a road favorite that day as well. So, not too fond of them, laying points on the road. Yeah, did they bounce back and destroy Texas Tech? Yeah, when they should have. That's why the Cappers were still going to be on them in that game. Thanks, Ray. Bye bye. Appreciate you always. So I'll just got to take the over in this one. Look, TCU's going under right now, and maybe it was part of the reflection of we thought they were going to be a little bit better than this. Yeah, okay. The decline has been sudden, and they've had to run Morris out there at quarterback and Hoover, and these guys have thrown 9 interceptions combined this year. But Will Howard hasn't. We were certainly expecting more from Will Howard at this point. I think that's been one of the issues: 9 touchdowns and 7 interceptions for Howard, and maybe that's why Kansas State still 4-2 against the number and had some impressive covers. Not only the game against Texas Tech, but they covered a similar spread to this. I will add, they were a 6-point favorite against UCF back on September 23rd, and they won that game 44-31. As a similar favorite here. They also beat Troy at home in a non-conference game, laying 14.5, and they won that one 42-13. Now for TCU and K-State, last year K-State won the matchup at TCU by a score of 31-28 in what was a closely rated game. At that time, it was nearly a pick-em. Maybe it was a 1-point spread, whatever the case may be. K-State got the victory by 3 points. TCU won the year. That was the champion. That was the championship game. That was the no, not the championship. What was that? 31-20. I'm trying to think here. All right. You got me on that one. I should look this up, but I do know 31-28, and they met in October, and the regular season game was 38-28. TCU. All right. Well, nonetheless, I'm on the over here in this one. Like I said, TCU 2-5 to the under so far this season, actually. But K State 4-2 to the over. They went over in that last game against Texas Tech. Oh, I didn't mention TCU. Right, so TCU they met BYU last time out. They beat BYU 44-11 at home. Crushed them, crushed the spread. They covered this 5-point spread. They had lost at Iowa State by 2 touchdowns as a 1 touchdown favorite on the road. TCU was favored at Iowa State. And then TCU lost at home to West Virginia. They also crushed SMU at home and won at Houston convincingly by 23 points as a 7-point favorite. So I'll take the over in this one. Maybe this one's gotten away from me just a little bit. I don't think I can go premium on it. And feel bad there a little bit. Probably could have had a premium there at 57. So still feels okay. Feels like an over here. TCU, man, in that game against BYU, they outgained them by 341 yards. They've had some big performances like that. They also outgained Houston by 300 yards. So it does feel like for TCU, they're still. I am, Tom, because I'm trying to hide. I'm hiding the yawns here. Every time I pause, that's me yawning. So, but I'd like to get up early. Let's tackle these games. Let's get this show over with. I've got one more game here for Saturday. Ole Miss going to take on Auburn here in this one, and Ole Miss, a 6.5-point favorite on the road at Auburn. And Ole Miss comes in, I don't know, talk about overrated, or I don't know, are they underrated at this point? Have people overlooked Ole Miss? Have they forgot about Ole Miss? Do they think Ole Miss is for real? I mean, Ole Miss is 5-1 after all coming into this game, but now you're going to be 6-point favorites on the road. That feels a little uncomfortable to me. This one opened 4.5. It did dip to 4. But has since then been on a little bit of a run here, and it did go all the way to 7.5 before being bought back down to 6.5. So for me here, I don't know. I'm getting a little bit of home dog action. Total open 54 is all the way up here to 56.5. I also kind of like where that's headed, but one of the things I'm concerned with Ole Miss, they have gone. Let's see. Well, let me get Auburn first. I mean, they've gone 7-1 to the over in their last 8 games as an underdog. They've also gone over in 7 of their last 9 SEC games. Now, Auburn, they get it done pretty much on the ground, right? They're pretty heavy run-oriented team. While Ole Miss, they have Dart, and he certainly has done a very nice job with over 1,600 yards passing this season and 12 touchdowns. For Ole Miss, they're coming off that win over Arkansas. They did not cover, but they covered, like I said, 4 out of their last 6 games. Home covers. They remember the wild game against LSU that Ole Miss had, 55-49. Could we see a similar type of game here against Auburn? Auburn's lost 3 straight right now, so they were getting double digits in all of those games, playing a very tough schedule. This is supposedly going to be easier, but Ole Miss is playing so good. Auburn lost at Texas A&M 27-10, getting 10 points. They didn't cover. They lost at home against Georgia. They were getting two touchdowns in that one, and they got the money. But then they played LSU last week, getting 11.5, and they got absolutely destroyed by 30 points. Ole Miss, they played Alabama on the road, lost 24-10 as a 6.5 point dog, and now laying 6.5 at Auburn. Yeah, Auburn's 3-3 and only 2-4, against the spread, but Auburn's had the upper hand in the series, I guess we could call it. Auburn's covered 19 out of the last 27 meetings. I mean, these are every year combatants. Last year, Ole Miss won it at home, 48-34. They didn't get the money. They were favored in that one by 14.5. The year before was here at Auburn, of course, and Auburn won as a 3-point favorite, 31-20. So Auburn got the money in that one. I'm going to play the over as my play here in this one and go over 56.5. I'm going to try to reserve this Auburn team here. I don't know if I'm quite ready yet to put them in the premium category, but I'm leaning Auburn here. Thomas says he likes it to be a close game. Of course, he's kidding because there are no ties in college football anymore, but obviously he feels like it's going to be a close game in this one, and I'd agree. I'd have to agree. I mean, I think with a high score, I guess there could be some variance to the game, and that's kind of what's got me a little bit even hesitant on necessarily taking a home underdog here, because that's probably what I would look to do in this one. Okay, thanks you guys so much for spending another 2 hours with me every day, previewing and talking about games. Here comes a little steam on a game. Let's see, is this one we talked about? No, this wasn't one. Cincinnati just took some steam here in their college football game. I guess I could pass that along to you. In their game against Baylor, they were opened a 1-point favorite. We've already previewed that game, and now they're up all the way to 3 or 3.5 at this point. The steam rolling in here on Baylor and Cincinnati. We already was on the total. We gave out the total on that game way back. On the show, I gave it out at 52. It's actually down to 50 right now. A little more steam that came in. I'll let you get out of here. I thought I saw one more. I'll let you go. We've spent enough time together. Appreciate you guys so much. Catch you tomorrow, Thursday, NFL Thursday. Yeah, we've got NFL tomorrow. So Jaguars, Saints. I think we got a good one. Feel bad about the Jaguars playing on a Thursday after playing a little bit of London action, a little bit of another. These guys need a day off, man. This could be. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Join me tomorrow, more mornings team. Catch you then, and have a great day.